Here's the truth nobody told us growing up. You weren't taught to love. You were taught to earn your place. This is for the woman who grew up inside control-based systems, the church girl, the pleaser, the quiet rebel. It's for the one who always felt a little outside the circle, who learned to keep the peace instead of keeping herself. You were taught to perform, to shrink, to wait for someone to tap you on the head and say, now you're worthy. Now you're chosen. But here's the real gut punch. You can be surrounded by people and still feel unclaimed when you haven't claimed yourself. Stay with me, because if this hits somewhere low in the ribs, this is for you. And by the end of this, you're going to understand where the obsession with being chosen actually came from, how it lives in your nervous system, and one simple grounding practice you can try tonight to call your power back into your own field. You don't need to be chosen. You need to stop abandoning yourself. Welcome to Your Witchy Mother. We cover everything your mother never taught you without the guilt. Body-led choices, steady money, clear boundaries, with practical rituals and zero performance. Hi, I'm Melanie. I'm your witchy mother. Let's name the lie outright. You won't be happy unless someone picks you. I want you to hear this. That message wasn't born from love. It was engineered. Patriarchy, church culture, and family systems all needed you to be convenient. And a woman who waits to be chosen is a woman who stays small. Pick-me conditioning lives in the nervous system, not the mind. Growing up, I was never the shiny, chosen girl. At my Baptist school, I was the one lingering at the edge of the kickball field, watching everyone else pair off. The popular kids got snapped up first, and I'd stand there with the other misfits. The kid with braces, the chubby kid, the solitary black kid in an all-white classroom. We weren't chosen, but we weren't pretending either. There was an honesty in that circle, even if it stung. And that sting stays. It turns into a belief that someone else gets the final vote on your worth. Being unchosen as a kid becomes performance as an adult. Let me ask you this. Where did you first learn that being picked meant being safe? Here's the part we don't like to say out loud. Even as adults, we still contort ourselves for crumbs of approval. You cook meals you don't like. You soften your tone so someone else won't feel threatened. You date people who drain you because at least you're not alone. You stay in jobs, friendships, marriages, because leaving feels like failing. And if you were raised in a church, you were trained to see partnership as salvation. You were taught that your completion lived outside of you. Ex-church girls were taught that partnership equals holiness. But here's the truth you can feel in your bones. You were never meant to outsource your authority. People don't complete you. They just amplify whatever you already carry. When you're empty, they amplify the ache. When you're rooted, they amplify the joy. So let me ask you, are you choosing connection or avoiding being alone with yourself? This is where my own spell broke. After years of marriages built on performance, on being the good wife, the calm wife, the small wife, I found myself alone in a quiet house, and it was disorienting. It was painfully quiet. I didn't know who I was without someone else's rules. One night, I made a casserole. Simple, cozy, warming, a dish I wasn't allowed to cook before because one of my husbands decided he didn't like it. And as I sat there eating it, I realized how tiny my definition of freedom had become. Freedom tasted like noodles and cheese. Freedom looked like watching a crime drama without someone judging me for it. Freedom sounded like silence without fear in it. That night, I understood. I had never actually chosen myself. I only ever chose to keep the peace. Self-choice isn't loud. It's quiet, steady, and done in private. Let me know in the comments, what's one tiny thing you stopped doing because someone else didn't approve? Let's talk about the body for a moment. Your nervous system doesn't care about your healing timeline. It cares about survival. And survival used to mean don't rock the boat, stay chosen, stay pleasing, stay small. So when you start choosing yourself, your body might panic. You might feel guilt, nausea, dread, confusion, and loneliness. This doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you're rewiring your field. Your body confuses self-devotion with danger at first. One common hesitation I hear is, what if choosing myself means I end up alone? But the truth is, you're already alone when you abandon yourself. Another hesitation is, I shouldn't want more. I should be grateful. That's the obedience spell talking, not your intuition. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It's sacred. Let me give you something small, something you can try today. Tonight, sleep on the side of the bed you actually want. Not the side you defaulted to in relationships. Not the side someone else assigned you. The side your body reaches for when it's not being watched. This tiny act repatterns your field. It tells your nervous system, I choose me, I choose comfort, I choose what fits. Here's a tiny ritual for breaking pick-me conditioning. Cook something you weren't allowed to make before. Wear the scent you stopped wearing because someone else didn't like it. Sit in silence without music or noise and ask, what do I want? Small acts build coherence. Coherence builds sovereignty. Self-selection is a daily practice, not a one-time decision. Tell me in the comments, what's one small act of self-choice you can commit to tonight? If this stirred something in your field, go watch my free ceremony. You don't need to protect your energy, you need to reclaim it. It will help you call your energy back from old attachments, old expectations, and old identities that kept you waiting to be chosen. If you feel scattered, it's time to reclaim your field. You don't need to earn your worth. You don't need permission. You don't need to be chosen. Your field is yours. Your life is yours. And the moment you start choosing yourself, everything shifts. You are not waiting anymore. You are choosing. Start tonight.